Erica, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you so much for doing this. We are obviously all super excited that you are coming back to Hubcap Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You've done it twice before. What are your kind of memories of the festival?
Well, it's always fun, but it's always very cold. So it's mostly getting out of van and into the venue or into the hotel as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it's true. It does. It's one of those things when people go, "Oh, you're going to a comedy festival. Where is it? New Brunswick. When is it? February." But
Yeah.
but I think one of the skills as New Brunswickers that we have is, of course, it's definitely resilience, but also the festival go out of their way to make sure everyone has a great time inside, of course.
Yeah, I used to leave if it was that cold and get out of my house and go to a crappy show.
Exactly right. And how do you find New Brunswick audiences different from other audiences?
I find kind of all of the audiences on the East Coast, they have a connectivity that's different. Like in Vancouver, we have such a variety of, people from all over the place. And I mean, not that you don't in New Brunswick, but there's certainly that East Coast vibe.
Yeah.
I love. And so it is funny because either everyone will love a joke or it's not like in Vancouver where, some people are like, that wasn't for me. If you do something that they don't like, it's like collectively the whole audience is like, nope, thumbs down, try again.
It's so true. It's definitely a collective mindset. But you are right. I mean, the majority of Maritimers are from here. I mean, I'm pretty much the only one. I'm the only one that they let in that's not from here. But
I've been reading about you in the news. They're not happy.
No, they're still quite mad that I came. I mean, it's especially stealing jobs from maritime comedians. It's a terrible thing. And you've obviously been doing stand-up a long time. What was the thing that kind of spurred you when you first started out to do your very first open mic?
Well, it was a dream of mine since I was quite young. I saw stand-up on Johnny Carson and immediately thought, obviously that's what I should do. Mm-hmm. But I never really did it until I was in my early 20s, and it's a very cliche story about someone. It was a friend of a friend, young guy, died, and I had written something for his family, and they were very touched by what I wrote. And I just suddenly was like, I have this, I love to write, and I wanted to perform, and life is short, and just, not like that. It wasn't the next day. It was like 6 months later.
Yeah.
I finally got around to it. Yeah. But yeah, it was one of those kind of, life's too short not to do this.
That's beautiful. That's not cliche. That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And obviously, I mean, you've performed at numerous festivals, numerous TV appearances. What are your kind of career highlights? Like, what are the things that you look back on and go, that was the moment?
Gosh, it's funny because when they happen, they feel like the career highlights, and then you look back and you're like, oh, I'm still slugging it out. I guess that wasn't the TSN turning point. Going to Afghanistan was obviously like an experience of a lifetime, and just to be selected by CBC to send me there was pretty great. Getting my first writing gig was exciting because writing obviously is a big part of stand-up, and to actually be able to make money separately from having to put on makeup and pants. And then, anytime you get to see, you're at a TV taping and you're like, wow, somebody's paying me to do this. Yeah. And I think the first time I saw someone on Air Canada watching me on TV, I was like,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, and of course, you never look like you look on TV in person. So there was no way I'd be like, that's me, because they'd be like, whoa, rough night. I have no makeup on, I'm traveling. I'm like, I'm just gonna stay over here and quietly licorice and watch myself.
And I guess the important thing though is that in this business, the career highlight ultimately is the fact that you're still doing it successfully. Like, no one gets into, especially in Canada, no one gets into stand-up because we think we're going to be rich and famous. Like, the reward.
Wait, what? I'm not going to be rich and famous?
There's a beautiful thing about this, the industry in this country where everyone gets into it for the right reasons, in my opinion. And it's like, as a result, the point of success is this is going to be my job forever.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of funny because whenever you show up at Christmas dinners, or your family is always like, stand up is one of those things of like, what are you doing? You know, what, like nobody asks that of the teacher, like, what's next for you? They're like, I go back and I teach these kids. But like, people are always, and for me, like, of course, fame and fortune and all that kind of stuff would be nice. Yeah. But it is also a dream that I get to do this for my living and, you know, roll out of bed when I want to. And I mean, it comes with the stresses of obviously being a small business, but yeah, it is the dream for me that I get to do this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like any self-employed person, but you're right. It's a bizarre dichotomy that people say, you know, what's next? You're like, well, what's next is from Monday through Thursday next week, when you're all in an office, I'll be in bed and then I'll be doing my dream job. I'll be traveling across the country to go to an awesome place to perform for lovely people.
Yeah, exactly. And it is the dream too. I've got to see so much of this country that, you know, you might not buy a ticket to go to Whitehorse, but I've been there twice now. And so I've got to see so much of Canada that I might not have gone to otherwise, which is pretty cool.
Like New Brunswick.
Like New Brunswick. I mean, I would have bought a ticket to New Brunswick.
Of course. Good answer. Have you done many New Brunswick things while you're here? Like, have you ever eaten dulse?
No, I don't even know what that is.
It's like crispy seaweed.
Okay.
Now that you said you haven't had it, you do realize that now people will be arriving at your shows at Hubcap with dulse for you.
Yes, and telling me that theirs is that. Do people make it at home or do they buy it?
That's a good question. I think both. You know what it's like in New Brunswick? Everyone makes everything at home. Like wine's made at home.
Oh, I've never tried wine. I've never tried chocolate cake, and I've never tried chocolate chip cookies. So if people want to bring all of those things to my show,
I like it. Good thinking.
Yeah.
And who were your kind of comedy heroes growing up, or indeed when you were starting out? Who were the people you kind of looked up to?
Well, I started in Vancouver at the Urban Well, which is like legendary as the great place. It was a special time where Brent Butt and Jamie Hutchinson ran this room. And so definitely like Brent played a big role. I mean, not only was he such a great comedian that he still is. I don't know why I just used that in the past tense.
But he was and he is, yeah.
I mean, already before he was Brent Butt, he was already, a comedian we all respected. But he is the one that invited me to go to the Winnipeg Comedy Festival to be a guest on his live talk show that he was doing. So that he kind of got me into doing festivals maybe a little bit before I normally would have. And I got to meet all those people and got invited back the next year. So he definitely, I would say, I owe a big thank you.
That's nice.
Don't tell him.
No, but I mean, he's one of those rare people who, the stories I hear of him is that he was an amazing man back then, and of course, now is I just met him and did a festival with him last year for the first time, and it's just, again, he's a titan of Canadian stand-up. He's one of the biggest comedians of all time here, and is just still the most charming, understated person you can imagine.
Yeah, so lovely. So, yeah, definitely he played a big role.
Nice. And where do you see comedy going in like the next decade? Like, do you see that there's going to be a kind of a shift, either kind of politically or comedically, in the way that we do things?
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, it's already changed so much just since I started. Nobody had a website in the year 2000. Nobody had their own website. That was insanity. And now you can build a website in 10 minutes and YouTube clips and everything. So, yeah, I don't know. I think stand-up will always be here, though, because it's been throughout history. You've always had the joker and the jester, and there's something about live comedy that, like, even though I think we will see a lot more things on YouTube or whatever platform comes out in the next 5 years, but in something that hasn't been invented yet. But there's something about being with a group of people and laughing. Yeah. And I mean, gosh, will it become more political? I don't know. Maybe Trump will turn into the new Kim Jong-il, so we'll see.
he's well on his way. He's well on his way.
He's doing a pretty bang-up job.
Yeah. I mean, and one of the funny things, though, is that I guess with art forms and things, and people say to us about, YouTube or Facebook and all the rest of it, and people think that, that radio is a passé thing, and yet probably the number one way that people know comedians, certainly in this country, is through the debaters, which you've done, I believe, over 30 times. I mean, and you're amazing on it, by the way, as you are. I'm a big fan.
I did it last night. We had a debaters taping last night, and and it is one of those things that, especially if I go to a small town, like being on the debaters is like. And it is. It's such a great thing, and it's so we're so blessed to have it. But the radio. I think it's funny that the radio is actually going to outlast the television.
Yeah, it's the biggest. Right? I mean, it's funny. Yeah, you did last night, and I did one with Graham Tinman a few months ago. It was just repeated at lunchtime today. And if I went and did a show for 5,000 people, I would probably get a handful of messages, and yet a repeat of a debaters goes out, and you get more messages from people randomly. It's the biggest, and it's like they all know our voice, but they don't know what we look like. Yeah,
exactly. And which is funny because sometimes people will, especially if they meet Steve, like they'll be like, "Oh, he doesn't look like I thought he'd look," and then when they meet me, I'm like, "Do I look like you thought I'd look?" And they're always like, "Yeah." I'm like, I don't even know how to take that. They're like, "Yeah, pretty much."
That's a compliment. You look how you sound, and they've enjoyed listening to you. So that can only be a good thing.
Yeah, hopefully.
And obviously, one of the things about Hubcap is that different to other festivals, we kind of get the opportunity to do longer sets. And obviously, packing in 3 shows in a night, but they're 30-minute shows. And I know from all of the clips and stuff I've seen of yours, you rarely tell the same routine the exact same way. Like you like to mix things up, and I know that's one of the things you're known for. Is that do you plan set lists anymore, or do you kind of have a bank of stuff and you go out and just read the room? What's your kind of approach to stand up in that way?
Yeah, I like to know what I'm going to start with, obviously, but unless it's a TV taping or, like an 8-minute something, I just kind of go out and read the room and see where it takes me. Because having done it so long, you do have this database, and sometimes things, you'll just get taken in a different direction and end up writing a new 3 minutes on a joke because of something that happens. So yeah, I don't plan it out, because if I write it down, the whole time I'm up there, I'm trying to think what's next. So I just try to be in the moment, and rarely have I just blanked and not like I have once. I started telling a really old joke because somebody said something in the audience, and about 2 minutes into and it's a long bit. I couldn't remember why I ever decided to tell this stupid story or why anyone would care. And I was like, I think I just kind of trailed off. Like, so that was that. And I was like, that. So now I try to be more careful. I won't try to reach back into something way back in the mind with thinking it all the way through.
Yeah, because it's funny how this stuff goes. Like, you can watch a clip from 10 years ago and go, I don't remember any of that, saying any of that. And once it's gone, I mean, none of the beats are there, and none of the details of the story are there. You're like, there's a thing, but that's it.
Yeah, it's the magic. It's like that was a time of your life that you had that, and it was important to you. And now, like, somebody will say, like, "Oh, you never do that joke anymore," and I was like, "Oh, I forgot about that joke." And then I'm like, and especially it's good if it would work well for like a corporate. They do a lot of corporates. So sometimes I appreciate when I'm like, "Oh, right, I'm going to pull that over." I mean, that hilarious, excellent, a lot of money for it. Shine it up and take it for the ride again.
Exactly. And then finally, can I just ask what you're looking forward to most about coming back to Hubcap in February?
The seaweed, I think. The seaweed. You know what I'd like to do? Okay, so blueberry beer that I always have at that one pub, which I look forward to, and I hope they have again. And I'm going to dress appropriately this year. I'm doing a week in Winnipeg in January, so I feel like as a Vancouverite, I will get proper clothes, and I can actually walk outside. The farthest I went last time was across from the hotel. There was a Sobeys and a liquor store, and I went there, and I didn't go anywhere else. So I'd like to go out for a nice meal in New Brunswick and, like, somewhere in that little downtown area.
Beautiful. Well, anyone watching this, we will be flashing up your Twitter handle on screen now, so people should send Erica their restaurant recommendations in Moncton, of which there are many. And yeah, that's the key. I mean, wrapping up warm, and you could not have a better warm up for coming to New Brunswick in February than a week in Winnipeg.
I really know how to plan my winter.
That's genius. I like it. You'll get to New Brunswick and be like, it's warm here.
Yeah, get rid of my tooth.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for your time. And like I said, we all can't wait for you to get here. You're awesome. And thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. See you.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
See you then. Bye.